In economics, there's this idea. In fact, this is really the definition of the study of economics. And that is that people have unlimited wants, but resource-wise, we are scarce. And economics is the study of how to bridge this imbalance of unlimited wants versus scarcity. Socialism, it tries to respond to that by saying, if people have unlimited wants, we should be able to give them unlimited things. The issue is that socialism does not account for scarcity, and this can result in horrible disasters. Venezuela is an extremely modern example of socialism failing in a horrible way. That's why it's been brushed aside by so many elites, intellectual elites, because it doesn't fit the narrative that they're pushing. Really, it just adds another notch to the belt, next to Cuba, Russia, Germany, China, Italy, Greece. Anyway, you get the point, okay? There's a lot of examples, and we really could just keep going. Here, I have an article titled, Fact Check. They're going to fact check me. Socialist policies alone did not destroy Venezuela's economy in the last decade. Oh, great. Let's see what did. A Facebook post shared, this whole part is just talking about the spread of the quote-unquote misinformation that socialism destroyed Venezuela. So we'll go ahead and skip ahead. It's true that Venezuela once had a thriving economy that fell to deep poverty. But there's more to it than just a simple explanation of socialism, Stephen Morris explained. Morris is a professor at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, where he teaches Latin American studies and is now researching corruption at the National Autonomous University of Mexico in Mexico City. I'm a couple drinks in right now, guys, just so you know, if I stumble over my words a little bit. The post is particularly correct to the facts, but simplifies things in a bit. Its conclusion for obvious political purposes, he said. In the 1970s, the country experienced a healthy economy because of its success with oil. Venezuela's petroleum reserves are recognized as the largest in the world. By the end of 2019, BP's review of the world energy estimated that the country had a whopping 303 million barrels of oil. By building an economy on the success of oil prices, it distorts everything else, Morris said. Duh. And by building an economy on the success of oil prices, they really mean building their government on taking over the oil industry. Because that's what happened. This is why we say socialism destroyed the economy. Well, I'll get into that in a moment. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. When the price of oil goes high, the country does well. But when the price of oil collapses, everything goes to hell, he said. The thriving oil reserves caused the country to put all of its eggs in one basket. Yeah, that's what caused it. Not the singular takeover of the oil industry to provide absolutely everything else. All the social programs, everything. Not through taxation, not through printing more money, well, until more recently, but through taking all the profits from the oil company. What I'm saying here is the thriving oil reserve did not cause the country to put all of its eggs in one basket. That was the country's independent decision. They did not need to do that. It focused mostly on oil production, while other industries have seen less interest, like agriculture, which has been the case historically, Moore said. In economics, and this is true, this is known as Dutch disease, which is basically, like he says, when you put all your eggs in one basket, when you have one thriving industry and you focus on it extraordinarily intently, which basically every single market fluctuates. So if you want your economy to fluctuate at the same rate, it's a good way to do it. The country's economic standing fell when oil prices began dropping in the 1980s. While growth was restored and the economy leveled out, it left poverty in its wake. The rise of Chavez. Okay, he keeps going through, but I think you get the general point already. This is a long article, and you can go ahead and read it. Maybe throw in some things in the comments that you actually like about the article, and some things that you wish I would have talked about. But I'm just going to focus on this top section where he lays out his argument, which is socialism didn't cause the destruction of Venezuela. What caused it was the evil oil companies, which also happened to be the Venezuelan government, but we don't have to talk about that, I guess. Essentially, the argument he's laying out is that it wasn't socialism. Look, socialism works. It works. But the oil prices fell. What can they do about that? Now, here I have a chart of the oil prices falling when Maduro takes office. Now, not both of these guys are socialists, okay? Chavez is a little bit more socialist, but both of them just kept throwing more social programs at their people. And I'm going to get into the socialist trap here in a moment. But 2013, Maduro takes office. Boom. Prices of oil fall. They just drop. This is actually, you'll remember that the GOP Congress took over. And the United States started mining their own oil. And this basically dropped the oil prices all around the world. Which, I don't know about you, I like paying less for gas. I don't think it's a bad thing. In fact, I remember pretty much every single time this happens, our economy thrives. But that's because we have a self-correcting market. Venezuela did not. So what you'll see here is it drops. Their GDP drops with the oil prices. They make a little bit of a rebound. They start selling a little more oil. And then, boom, collapses from $334 billion to $68 billion. Huge crash. To the point where people are eating their dogs, rats. They have no refrigeration. The electricity is off at this point. It's just a shit show. Venezuela is a state that had taken over their largest industry, which is the oil industry, because they saw that there were high profits. Now, what do businesses do with high profits? A lot of times they put it into other investments, such as stocks or other companies, so that they can hedge against market fluctuation. But what Venezuela did with these profits is they put them into social programs. So you'll see from 1999 to 2013, they did pretty well. But, as always happens, when their profits start to wane, they're stuck with these policies, with these social programs. And so they still have to keep dishing out these profits that are non-existent to the social programs. And that causes the government to print more money and causes mass inflation, as what happened in Venezuela. This is the fear of socialism. Hey everybody, I'm the Recon. If you like this video, it was taken from a longer segment discussing the topic more in depth and giving more examples. Go ahead over to my channel and check it out. Link in the bio.